Hello everyone, welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Steve Hall. I'm joined as always by Chris Pajak over there, Tom Jennings over
as
there.
As always. Sometimes I'm joined by...
Occasionally.
Sometimes there's three of us, sometimes there's two of us, there's very rarely one of us, and when there is, it's usually me talking. I had a good intro set up there and everything, but it's fine, we'll just crack on.
What was it?
It was like a stuck in the middle with you reference.
Okay.
But it's fine. It's, you know, it's like an IKEA introduction. There's the bit, make it yourself. Why am I hosting the show starting and not Chris? Well, that goes without saying, one of our first games is going to involve Chris's Super Bowl contending Minnesota Vikings. So we're gonna head over there shortly. That's going to be one of our four main games before we spin around the league. Chris?
Hello.
38-30 against the Washington Redskins. I was expecting a defensive battle.
Yes, was I?
And that's not what we got at all.
No, we got Case Keenum, world's greatest quarterback, for about 3.5 quarters.
I was about to say, his passer rating for the first 3.5 quarters was perfect. And then he kind of remembered that he was Case Keenum and threw two terrible
back-to-back interceptions to Ste... What's his name? Forget the fella's name.
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. And then
he took over the game. Swearinger.
Yeah, DJ Swearinger.
Sorry, yeah. He took over the game, actually. And it was a lot closer than the scoreline would let you believe right towards the end, because the game was really won with about probably 2 minutes to go in the first half, because we were always getting the ball back to start the second, and we managed to get points off a turnover then, got a big lead up. And then Zimmer starts messing around with the defence a little bit, bringing a lot of pressure, which is his way. I'm not criticising Zimmer here by any stretch. But they did get back into the game, and Swearinger got into the game, and Crowder got into the game, and they started to play some good ball. And Case Keenum was brilliant for the first 3 quarters, but those 2 back-to-back picks really hurt us. Now, I do think that we were missing Everson Griffin. That was a massive blow for us. I had a little look just before we started filming. It doesn't look like it's anything too serious. What he was saying is he's had a bit of an injury on his foot and would rather miss 1 game than 4 because the team's going to need him down the stretch. So it seems like a smart decision, and it was actually his decision that the coaches backed up for him. So he was going to be playing, and then he's decided, no, you know what, I want to miss 1 game. But we were brilliant, man. Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Murray gets touchdowns. We were just superb on offense.
Absolutely. We'll come back to that in a second. I want to come to you first on the Redskins, Jenno. They got their offensive line back, and you could tell. I thought they did pretty well against the albeit an Everson Griffin less pass rush, but it wasn't like they weren't sacking them for days. You know what I mean? They were getting there was pressure there, Chris, but there wasn't like it wasn't on his arse all game, which I worried he would be. Again, I come away quite impressed by Kirk Cousins in terms of his mental strength more than anything else. You know, I don't think he's the greatest quarterback, but where we said in the past, some quarterbacks, you know, are almost bottlers. You wouldn't say, okay, Cousins, even when he's down by 15, whatever points, he is still throwing those bombs. He's doing everything he can to get his team back, and he got pretty close in the end.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's going to put 30 up on this Vikings defence, that's pretty good. I mean, to be honest with you, if you put 30 up on the Vikings defence, you should win the game. I mean, obviously the Vikings offence exploded, and that's not what happened, but I like what Kirk Cousins is doing. He's reading the game pre-snap. Yeah. His pre-snap reads are really improving. And and that's not something which, you know, you really think Kirk Cousins is this smart quarterback who's reading, but he is. And he's just making smart decisions, and he pretty much picked the Vikings defence apart. It was only a couple of big stops for the Vikings in the red zone or when they needed those 4th down, they couldn't do it. And then some poor red zone play calling, like throwing 3 passes in the red zone against the Vikings. Like, I mean, just run the ball at least once, give yourself the option, that play action, like the way the Vikings did that play action touchdown to the backup tight end, which was just brilliant, you know what I mean? Have a go with that. Like, don't just sit there, drop back and shotgun, throw 3 passes. I thought that was a mistake made by the Redskins, and that's probably why when you watch the Redskins, I think they're an 8-8 team. I think they look good, but there's just not enough superstar power to get them over the line to get into the playoffs.
Cousins, though, that quarterback sneak, that was the worst quarterback sneak ever, and yet he still manages to get it over.
I put on Twitter straight after, like, I thought he's gone in a second from doing the worst bit of quarterback sneaking I've ever done to then doing absolutely amazing, because that he's too high, he's fumbling the ball, and then as he stood up, is it Smith who's trying to rag the ball out of his hands? And to be fair, he must have
vice-like grip.
Yeah, he's done really well. So he while he did balls it up, he recovered well. Jenno, very quickly, you mentioned about the not running in the red zone. I was going to come to you on that. Rob Kelly wasn't there much, was he? It was P. Ryan and it was Thompson. Do you think that was the reason why maybe they didn't?
To be honest, I actually think that had they have stuck with Piran, they were getting success. You know, second half, they really started to trust Piran a little bit more, and he was really eating up yards on us, like, and we struggled to stop him. And I think had they made some more smarter decisions and started to use him early on in the game, they might not have been out of it before the fourth quarter.
And you mentioned before, Chris, Phelan and Diggs. As wide receiver duos go in the league, I don't think it's ridiculous to say that they both might be top 10 receivers. They're both certainly top 20 receivers, and when you're playing with a backup quarterback, what it is, those guys are making it not easy for him, but you know they're certainly getting open for him. They're making those contested. The Phelan catch where he's covered and
Which
he just
one?
The touchdown.
The touchdown.
I mean, he is always making contested catches though.
Yeah. And that's what, but you mentioned before about Keenum looking good, and he does look good, but those two don't half help. They make him look a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Thielen's mad. He's a great route runner, and not only that, when everything breaks down, he finds those spaces in the zones and stuff like that. You know, the one where Case Keenum lobs it up in the air, and you see Thielen's made this cut, and then he sees, I've got to get open for my quarterback. Hand goes up in the air, and he bombs down the field into an area where the safety can't get him until it's too late. And it's those type of adjustments that really help Case Keenum, because I think they worked together a lot during the summer last time out, didn't they? So I think they've got a bit of an understanding together. You can see that he's got great hands, he's a great route runner, he's strong, he doesn't give up, he fights. You know, he's at a club that he wants to be at, first and foremost. He loves Minnesota. You know, he's grown up there. He went to Minnesota State and stuff like that. So he's brilliant. He's brilliant for us. I think he's top 5 receiver. I think that's legitimate now. I think, you know,
I think he's better than Jerry Rice. I mean, the way I was watching this game, like just on this game alone, he was incredible. And also Jerry Rice is about 45 now, so I think I'm okay with saying it.
I still personally, I think they're both. I think Diggs is better. If I'm honest, that's just a personal preference. But I mean, it is.
I think Diggs is more talented.
Yeah.
Natural talent, but I think if you move Diggs to another team, Diggs would be a better player. But I think for us, Phelan's the better player.
Phelan went 8 for 166, Diggs went 4 for 78, and it wasn't just those. We saw a bit Kyle Rudolph, we saw, like I said, the backup tight end getting a touchdown, which was a great player.
It was a great play.
I just think the Vikings are rolling in a division where obviously, you know, the Lions are flaky, the Packers are really injured for a start, and the Bears, you know, are absolute garbage. It's looking very much like, you know, it's not will they get the playoffs, it's what seed will they be. And I think if anyone has to go into Minnesota in the playoffs, that could be I'd expect them to win a playoff game at least. You know what I mean? That's where I would be at now with this team. The final question before we move on is, we saw Bridgewater on the sideline. He's active again, first time for a while. He obviously got emotional. When Keenan throws the 2 picks, he's getting ready to come on. I don't know if that was a word that is a yeah or it was
I don't know whether that or it was just as a like Zimmer just going, let's just get him warming up, let's make sure Keenum sees him warming up, and if anything happens again, he'll go into this game. Now, it's mad, but I think we need to keep Case Keenum in for now. I think he's been playing really well, hasn't he? You know, I think they've obviously seen Bridgewater in training, and that's the main thing. They'll know if he's back and he's better than Case Keenum, and my suspicion is he probably is. Will his body hold up? I'm not too sure, but Case Keenum right now is the quarterback, and you don't want to go into this part of the season having those controversies, and it looks like we're going to have them, unfortunately. If
it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose, is the where we are for now. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's also, if you look at the way they're built on strong defence, and they coupled it with an excellent run game. Like, their run game is incredible. So you're not asking Case Keenum to do a lot. So keep him in there until Teddy Bridgewater's ready, or until he shits the bed. And right now he hasn't shit the bed, so keep him in there.
I think I would.
Dalvin Cook would have had 9,000 yards this season so far.
You know, he's brilliant. Your centre, Alfine, absolutely fantastic.
He's a rookie as well.
Yeah, no, he's really, really good. He pulled a block like a tackle, ridiculous. Let's move on then to another game, and if you don't mind, I want to go first on this one. It's Falcons Cowboys. I've got a score. I probably should read that off first. It's 7-27. I never get angry watching NFL games, even when my own team are playing. Because it's kind of like it is what it is. I was absolutely furious watching this game when, with all due respect to Adrian Claiborne, he's Adrian Claiborne. He's not Von Miller. He's not JJ Watt. And he's getting 6 sacks. And all he's doing, he's just going after Charles Green, left tackle, and he's absolutely destroying him. Obviously, we know Tyron Smith was out. And not once did the Cowboys think to give him any help. Not once did he chip block him with a running back. Jason Witten very rarely goes over there to block. And in the end, I think he gets 4 sacks on Chaz Green. They take Chaz Green out and put the backup in. Well, that's not going to fucking work, is it? Because there's a reason
the two of them couldn't stop him.
Absolutely ridiculous. And I just thought, in a season where we've lost so many star players to injury, we've just lost Zeke Elliott, and we're going to mention him in a minute. You're going to get Dak Prescott killed. I was absolutely furious. I was thinking, this is the worst. Like, there's no adjustment. Your adjustment is to just swap your tackle for a guy who you think's worse than Chaz Green. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous.
Well, what do you think they could have done?
Again, chip block him with running back. You can put a tight end over there. You can play left-handed, so you can get Dak further to the right. There's a million. There's 3 off the top of my head. You could maybe get Dak running him. I don't know. I just think to not put anyone over there whatsoever it's borderline. It's irresponsible. They're lucky that Dak's not injured because he was on the floor. He was 6 sacks by one guy. I was absolutely furious.
Can I just go for a different reason why this kept happening? 1, Dak kept his hands on the ball too often. Some of them sacks were actually on Dak. And then 2, it's actually due to the running game why this kept happening. I was looking at the running game, I was looking at the snap count. And Alfred Morris was there for 33% of the time. Whereas the fullback Smith was on like 60% of the plays. This is why you're getting sacked, mate, because you're clearly not running the ball. So they know to just go after Dak Prescott because you're not running the ball. And also, as an offensive line, you're only as good as your weakest link. Yeah. And then when you've got a bad weak link, you're going to get destroyed. And that's what happened. Because they kept showing that they were going to pass. So they clearly knew to send them out there. But that tackle's struggling. You wasn't even putting Smith in pass block, like, pick him up.
Yeah, there was no chip block, there was nothing.
You didn't do that, and then also because you're not going to be running the ball, because you're clearly passing, and that because they don't have great wide receiving core, that's just constantly getting open. So Dak then started to keep his hand on the ball too often, and it's getting smacked around. And as we're seeing with Dak Prescott, when you take away the best O-line in the league, and probably arguably one of the best running backs in the league, suddenly he's come back to earth now, and that was always going to happen. And it's just terrible coaching by Jason Garrett and whoever their offensive coordinator is.
I was supposed to say, Chris, I was thinking the only explanation I can think of is Tyron Smith's that good. Genuinely, maybe their playbook has got no plays in that involves a guy being helping them protection on the left because they've never had to do it. Because why would you? You've got the best left tackle in the league and one of the best I've ever seen. That's fine. And I'm with Jenno on that, but they were behind, so they did have to throw, and Dak wasn't brilliant. But if you go into a game without your Pro Bowl left tackle, they know he's not there.
They're gonna pinpoint that.
Of course you would, because anyone would. And like, again, Adrian Claiborne had a day fantastic and made up for him. He earned him like $750,000, fantastic. But he's not exactly, he's not JJ Watt. He's not Von Miller. So I imagine they've gone into the game thinking, you know what, Chaz Green will be okay on him. And I understand that because...
But you've got to make adjustments. That's all you're saying.
How can you watch that game and do nothing? Yeah. If Dak got injured, that would have been their fault. That's their season gone. The season's in the balance as it is because they're in a division with the Eagles. And obviously in a conference where the NFC is absolutely flying. And they're without Elliott and stuff. And then for that, I thought it was absolutely baffling. I just could not get my head around it at all.
I know, I agree with both of you, to be honest with you. I think, there was a couple of plays where he did hold on to the ball for too long, Dak, but that is down to, for me, again, just like Jenno said about the running game, they didn't seem to trust Morris enough. When he got motion, he got off a couple of decent runs and stuff, but it was all to the right-hand side. It was nothing to the left-hand side, first and foremost. They were running that way.
Travis Frederick pulling right and stuff like that, which is amazing. Yeah, I agree. Did you think... We saw Dez early, and Dez had a bit of success early. I think the first drive, he caught 3 passes. And then he kind of vanished. I don't know if that's a game plan thing, it's a Dez thing, or what is it? But
I think it's a Dez thing, mate.
You're not a big fan.
I never have been a massive fan of him, to be honest. I didn't get Cole Beasley involved enough or anything.
We didn't see Jason Witten, I don't think he had anything.
He made one catch, I think, that I remember anyway. It was a decent one down the field, probably 20-yarder or something like that. That was the only one that I can remember.
The main weapon was Dak running, I thought, at the time.
But this is the thing, you can't just put, as you said at the top of the section, you can't just put it all on Dak. He is going to get hurt. He was thinking about running every single time he got the ball because he knew where the pressure was coming from, and he was sliding over to his right to give him some credit, but Claiborne was so fast around Green that he had absolutely no chance.
Let's flip it over then. Atlanta, they've been up and down, they played well, they lost Devonta Freeman, but I thought Tevin Coleman showed that in a lot of offenses he could be a number 1 back. I think he's very, very talented, and obviously Sean Lee goes down, which again it doesn't help the Cowboys in the run game and stuff. But
we've heard that.
I thought Yeah, he's always injured. Again, relying on him is never going to work for you. But I thought Coleman showed that he's a very, very good back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, some of those runs down there, I think it was down the right-hand side on the touchline and stuff, were absolutely brilliant from him. And he can play. He's a good running back. You know, he's not Freeman. I don't know whether he's good enough yet to be considered an RB1, maybe somewhere else, but he's definitely a good option. And out of the two of, what would you say, Morris and Coleman, who would you have rather had?
Yeah, Coleman for days. And what do you think? I thought Matt Ryan played well again. Yeah, I don't think he's been terrible. I don't think he's been great. I think he's been all right. But I think this game, he certainly got the ball out quicker, if nothing else.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's Matt Ryan. I mean, he just had an incredible season last year because everything broke for him. Now he's just back to being the game manager, somewhere around the 10th best quarterback in the league, somewhere, I don't know, 8th till 12th or something like that. And he's just playing well. I mean, he threw to Julio a few times. Julio made some great catches. I think they're just back to being a mortal team, the Falcons, and that's why they look worse than they are, because of how good they were last season. So you can't help but compare them to last season. But Matt Ryan, if you go through all the other seasons in his career, is pretty consistent. Like, one of those interceptions wasn't on him. It was tipped in the air, and then the defender made a great play.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's playing all right, and Falcons are being all right, but that doesn't look like that's going to be enough to get through the NFC South.
So the NFC in general is going to be really, really difficult. Yeah. I agree. It was a very good win, one that leaves the Cowboys in a bit of a mess. Let's move on then to Jaguars Chargers, one of the craziest games I've ever seen in my life. 17-20 it was in the end to Jacksonville in overtime.
How did that game end? It was just mental.
I was about to say, as endings the games go, I've never seen two teams trying not to win a game as much in my life.
I've never seen a block field goal go in to win a game. What?
But that block field goal was 5 yards closer than it should have been because of another penalty. If it was 30, it probably wouldn't go through if it was 35. Very quickly off the top of my head, we get, in the 2-minute drill, Blake Bortles throws 2 interceptions and his team still win the game. In any other walk, any other life, I would go, how the hell does that happen? But the answer is very simple, and it was Chargers. It was just another Chargers way to lose a mad game.
Look at Joe talking about the FC playoff picture. I can't work out who's going to get that 6th seed, because I can't see anyone going to win more than 7 games who aren't already over that limit. And it's just looking at it, it's crazy. Chargers just look like they want to beat themselves. They charger it, which is, you know, a phrase we need to bring back because we haven't said it in a while, but they do. And I think they were lucky to even make it to overtime, because I still can't work out why the fumble recovery touchdown was called down. Yeah. I did not see him get touched, and I believe the offensive lineman, when he stood up, just touched him, but it's like he's standing up, he's not down. So it just, that baffled me. But it's all about the Jaguars defense. Bortles probably threw interceptions because the best way to win them is to get the Jaguars defense back on the field. That's how you win. Bortles, just throw it to them, mate. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. You just be garbage. We'll take care of it. And then
it's a ridiculous throw for Bouye's interception as well. I mean, yeah, absolutely. He has just launched that, and it's not played him outside or anything. He's played it inside.
One of the best corners in the league.
Mental, absolutely mental.
Before that, we go back obviously into regulation then. So we have the Bortles picks. We have the Marcus Lee taunt when he thinks he's due a pass interference flag, and it turns out he hasn't. So that sends them down back. So now he's dancing again. Now I'm just dancing.
Who dances about flags? It's a flag. Let them work out what it is first.
What are you doing, lads? What are you doing?
It could be anything, that flag, couldn't it? Yeah. We could have just dropped his flag. And then
it could have been Adam Thiel's glove. I mean, that's just calm down.
Absolute pleb. And then if that's not bad enough, on the drive, Joey Bosa decides to suplex Blake Bortles. Fair enough, there's a lot of Jaguars fans who'd like to suplex Blake Bortles because he's crap. But Joey Bosa, who's having an absolute whaley of a game, lets himself down with just actually another stupid play. We get another Bortles interception. Then the Chargers trying to kill clock with a minute to go. Actually, I'll be honest, I thought the game was over because I forgot the Jags had timeouts, and then I realised, they got 3 timeouts. 3 straight runs, Chris.
That's all you need.
Yeah, but that's what he did, and he didn't get enough. That's what I'm saying. They run 3 times, but running 3 times works if the other team haven't got 3 timeouts. The other team have got 3 timeouts, and you haven't ran the ball all day. You know, Heckler, to be fair to him, Eckler, he had the fumble and stuff, but even in that drive, Melvin Gordon, they had not gained a yard all day. Darius and Campbell and Jackson just ate them all up. It looked to me like they wanted to just burn Jacksonville's timeout, punt it away and get Blake Bortles to throw it back to them, which, you know, it's understandable.
Blake Bortles off falling for that. I'm going to give you the ball back, lads.
I just found I found that play call, when you've got, you know, you've got Phil Rivers, it's third down and they've got a timeout and you just run the ball into the line. You're just saying, I don't understand why you're not trying to end the game right there.
The way he was running, they may as well just knee. This is just like, it would have actually been safer.
They had no desire to get that first down. I found it just utterly bizarre from Anthony. Isn't it?
Yeah, just like give Rivers one chance. I mean, you're Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen gets open, he's quite good, and he also good at contested catches. Worst
case is, you can just, if you really, really want to, you can just throw a deep pass, and if it gets intercepted, you know what? It's a punt anyway. It's a punt. Yeah. You've just punted. I just found it bizarre when they had all their time out that they just ran it 3 times into line. Coaching decisions in this league baffle me sometimes.
This is why the Chargers charge things.
This is very much why the Chargers charge things.
Can we just go back to the Vikings game quickly, because I forgot to mention it. What's Diggs' celebration? What's he doing there? Did you see that one where he went and jumped on the goalposts?
Oh no!
Yeah.
What was he doing?
He just ran and hugged the goalpost and got a flag.
He just ran. he was thinking about a celebration. You could see it almost, and then he sees the goalpost and it's like, ding! I'm gonna jump at it, and he jumps like that and just lands and then like hits the floor, and you're like,
flag.
Why? Why did you do that? I get you scored a touchdown.
Isn't that the Antonio Brown celebration from
the similar. It's very similar. Yeah.
No, I just saw the hopping one.
Now that's a celebration to have. We do have the best celebrations, actually.
Yeah, my favourite.
Steelers.
I don't know, hide was pretty good. And
the joke.
They were taking the piss out of AJ Green at the weekend. And also they've done the bench pressing one as well against the Detroit. So they're up there. And I like Travis Kelce's potato sack race.
Yeah, that was boss.
But my favourite so far of the whole season is Adam Thielen's knee slide.
Yeah, okay.
That's my absolute favourite. At Twickenham, when he gives it the absolute beans, I love that.
My favourite's probably the like they're playing Mortal Kombat and he cheats of the Detroit Lions. That was fucking.
That was against us.
Sick.
That was against us. They were playing. What do we do in the boxing game? Yeah, bastards. Back to this game. What was interesting, Chris, that we didn't see any Leonard Fournette. To be fair to the Chargers, they bottled the run game up, and in the end, like they forced Blake Bortles to pass it. Their game plan worked to a T in that. In a defensive way, you know what I mean? They kept Jacksonville to 17 points in regulation. They completely nullified Leonard Fournette. By the end of the game, it's Ivory and Yeldon with Leonard Fournette on the sidelines. To be fair to San Diego's defense, Los Angeles' defense now, they should be very proud of what they did in terms of stopping that run, because not many teams have
that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. They were brilliant at it, mate. And you know, Fournette's a monster, and to stop him with that Jacksonville side that's built for that run game, and when you have seen teams try and stop him before already this season and not been able to do it, the way that they did it is definitely good for them, and it will give them hope for the next few games.
And flip side, I thought the other running game couldn't get going either. I thought Calais Campbell and Marcel Darius, who they've just picked up, both of them. I mean, has anyone blocked Calais Campbell all year?
I don't think so. But the other thing about Marcel Darius is he's just left the team. Everyone's running all over them now for fun. No one's running on Jacksonville anymore. Maybe he was the reason.
There's a common denominator.
Yeah, maybe. But the other thing I want to talk about is the coaching of the Chargers. It's going to come up when I talk about the Patriots, but there's 3 phases to the game. Maybe don't hire someone who hasn't worked on special teams since 1999 to be a special teams coordinator. Just a thought. maybe take it seriously, because it wins your games.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I just thought, I want to go back to Boye before we finish, because on the interception, I like the fact that he celebrates.
Yeah.
And then realised that I need to run.
Yeah.
And then Phil Rivers throws a tackle in, doesn't he? And gives himself a concussion. And then there's a penalty on that as well. So they get a 15-yard penalty, another taunting penalty. Just absolutely the craziest game.
It was a bizarre end to the game. And you're sitting there, you're thinking, do you want to win this game? Does anybody want to win this game? How has this happened? What is going on? Seriously? Why is this game not ended yet? Somebody should have won this game by now. It's crazy.
And it was an absolute vital win for the Jags, because moving on, the Titans, and that's why I put this game last, the Titans get a victory against Cincinnati in a bit of a scruffy game. It wasn't the best game, wasn't the worst game. Again, I should know the score off my head, but I don't. 24-20, at home. DeMarco Murray has a day. I think that's the main thing we can say. 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, one of them a pass catch as well.
The one at the end, a really heads-up play, because if he doesn't get in, he doesn't keep his knees
It
off
was 3rd and 7, wasn't it, or something like that?
They'd have to kick a field goal and go to overtime. He does well to extend over the line, doesn't fumble into the end zone because we saw that happen a few times. More on John Fox later, because I can't wait to talk about that. But he keeps his knees off the floor, so I thought it was the most impressive thing, and he gets in and he ends the game. And again, when we talk about running backs in the league, and you know, Elliott gets mentioned and Bell gets mentioned, and all the new guys, Hunt and Fournette, a healthy DeMarco Murray is still a top player, and he proved it again.
Yeah, he is. He's a little bit different to some of those other guys. He makes that one cut and he goes, doesn't he? That's the thing with Murray, and he needs that first initial hole to burst through. But once he's through there, he can shake off tackles like nobody's business. And he's a downfield runner. He's an excellent back. I think had he not played behind one of the best offensive lines, the Cowboys, a few years ago, he would be treated with a little bit more respect. I think he's had to earn that respect a little bit more over the last couple of years.
I think that's also because, to be honest with you, in this whole career, he's only been healthy 2 years.
Yes,
it was last year and that year with the Cowboys. I mean, let's not forget his Eagles time where he was just abysmal, and then all the years with the Cowboys before then where they're like, if he was only healthy, it's basically Sean Lee.
Yeah, no, he is very injury prone. Before we move on, Vontaze Burfict got ejected. The least surprising headline of the season so far.
Yeah, that came up. I think it was I was watching the Vikings game at the time, and it came. I was like, oh yeah, great. That's like Lucas and a yellow card.
It's the first time he's ever been ejected from a game.
That's bullshit. I'm not having that.
Did you see it?
No,
well, to be fair, what happened was he gets a bad flag. It wasn't a flag. He's harsh and he's arguing with the ref. And the next play happens, he gets flagged again.
He touches
and then he touches the ref and he gets it, which is stupid.
How did he touch him?
He just grabs him.
He basically just does that.
It's kind of like
him out the way.
It's kind of like a move out the way ref.
But the ref, he does it from behind the ref. So the ref just feels like he's been grabbed by someone. The ref doesn't know that all he's done is slightly moving.
I thought it was harsh.
Yeah.
It was very harsh. He's kind of brushing past him. But
it's about time he got ejected from the game, in fairness.
I was about to say, he can't argue, can he, with his history.
Well, he wants to eject himself, you know, when he caught that interception and run out of the stadium and then got beat anyway.
He's done plenty. He's done plenty, hasn't he? I thought we'll talk more on the Titans offense in a second, but Bengals offense, I thought Andy Dalton played well. This is what gets me on Andy Dalton is that's probably a very, very good Andy Dalton game.
You think?
Ish.
I was going to say there was a fumble and a strip sack as well in there.
The fumble's on him, the strip sack's harsh, and he still only get 20 points, and that's my thing with Dalton is that
that's what he's going to get. Yeah.
He's just good enough to get beat, and that's what he showed again in a game that they were well in. You know, he gets AJ Green for a touchdown, he gets Brendan LaFell for a touchdown. They're well in it, and he could never take the game and pull away. He was always leaving the door open. There was always a missed third down or a slight opportunity that he just couldn't grasp, and I think
the left side of their line did them no favours in that game.
The whole line,
he's one of those quarterbacks I think is constantly worried about where it's coming from, and I think that hampers his play because you've obviously got to have your eyes down the field, but he's also, I think, thinking about where this hit's coming from, and he knows the hits are coming and stuff, and it's difficult because it's his blind side and stuff like that, but he has to get over that fear. He has to, if he knows about it, he has to get the ball out quicker, and he's got receivers there that he can get the ball out too. You know what I mean? And AJ Green can get the ball if it's 5 yards in front of him. You know what I mean? AJ Green's, he can just grab the ball from thin air if he wants, so he just needs to trust in his receivers a little bit more sometimes.
For sure. We'll come to the Tennessee offense then. Jenno, I thought they tried to get a bit more creative. They'd been a bit boring at first. Mariota was doing a few more runs on second down, which completely took the Bengals off guard because they were just preparing for the pass. They got Adoree Jackson playing offense a few times and it worked a couple of times. Obviously, he's a cornerback. They got Derrick Henry involved. They got DeMarco Murray. It looks like they were... Now that Mariota can run again, it's kind of opened things up to them because when he was a pocket passer, they were very, very one-dimensional. They don't really have a guy who can get open. They don't really have much explosiveness, but now when he can move, it spreads everything out. It keeps linebackers on the heels.
Yeah, that's how they do the exotic smash mouth because it's based on him being able to move. But my problem with the Titans is, and I keep thinking back to this, I don't think the coach is good enough. I think the club is too old because I think the defense isn't very good either. And I just think they've got the nucleus of a team that could, everyone knows that. I think there's so much potential in that team. But the problem I've got is I don't think the coach is good enough. And I think they've got a chance to become the Detroit Lions under Jim Caldwell or the Bengals under Marvin Lewis, where your coach isn't just quite good enough and you end up wasting the career of Mariota. And that's starting to... I don't know why, I just started thinking about that the other day, and I was like, there's a problem there, there's a problem. And I think it started the coach being a bit bland, and I think even Exotic Smash Mouth, well, the minute that Mariota couldn't move a bit, you see them panic and not know what to do. You didn't see any adjustments to how to start winning games.
And he was lucky, Chris, again, we saw he's injury prone, he's been injured over in the past, and he takes that hit where he smashes his head on the floor, and I thought he was knocked out. He gets up and he's a kind of, to be fair, he come back into the game, so God knows what the concussion protocol is there.
But you can't take that out of his game, because that's what makes him him, isn't it? At the end of the day, there's one where he's running down the left touchline, and he sniffs a touchdown, and he's running with the ball, and he's thinking to him, I'm thinking, that's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just steps out and doesn't take a hit. He tries a spin move to go back inside, to go around the cornerback or a safety, I can't remember what it was. And you're thinking, that is him though. That's what makes him him, but unfortunately, that's why he's injury prone.
Also, I think on one of the pitches, I think it might have been to Jackson actually, he runs out and he does the pitch and he gets absolutely levelled again. And it's like, I understand the running quarterback and you've got to kind of let Mariota be Mariota, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's going to... He took some big hits in that game.
But as Jenno was saying though, when he becomes that pocket passer, he's not that good. So
you've got to let him
what are you going to let him do?
I'm not sure it's not that he's not that good. It's that their playbook falls apart. They have no idea how to... Because he's actually not that bad of a pocket passer. I mean, he's not like Brady or Rodgers, but he's not bad. But their playbooks are all based around bootleg runs, read option. And it's a little bit like what we saw in Carolina, where when they weren't running Cam Newton, their offense was abysmal. Now that Cam Newton's running, as we'll get on to, they're looking good again.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you've got to run him. I just think I think there's certain types of run. I don't think putting him on a bootleg outside and pitching it just is wise. I think you're going to get him killed. I think if he's running to run, you kind of live with it. But I think those disguise ones where you're just giving a linebacker free license to welly your quarterback who hasn't even got the ball, maybe that might come back and haunt him.
There is a reason why you don't see many running quarterbacks last in the league. They don't last long. They flame out very quickly. Because
they have to adapt, and it's very difficult to adapt.
I like Mariota. I think he was clutch again in this game. I think he could be great, but the injury concern is worrying. But again, a must-win game in that division because again, it's a 2-horse race now. We're going to get on to some of the other teams later. That's going to be it might not be exciting watching the Jags and Titans because they're not they're not the Eagles and the Steelers and the Patriots, but they are it's an intriguing battle, nonetheless. We'll see how that one goes. Jenno was hoping for the Titans, his darling Titans, to get through. I think it'll be the Jags personally. No,
I think they both go through and then both end up 1 and done. unless they play each other, then one of them will.
Yeah, maybe I was going to say you might end up just beating each other just before they have to go to Foxborough. We'll see how that goes. Let's go around the league, gentlemen. Let's go. You know what? I'm going to change it up. Let's start with your New England Patriots first, then, Jenno, because you've got a big smile on your face, and we just mentioned them. 41-16. Denver were once the kryptonite of New England, and no longer are they. This game was over after about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When they fumbled that punt.
Yeah. So it just takes the start out. Patriots go 3 and out and don't really do nothing. You're thinking, well, this could be feisty. Kick down. He fumbles the point. We go and score, and it's just like, oh, we're going to smash this now because Brock Osweiler's not going to come back. And then just their first 3 special teams plays. So then we kick it to them. So they kick it to us after coming down and getting a field goal. And then Dion Lewis just runs to the house.
And then they have the block punt.
And then they miss a field goal. And we block it. And it was just, we absolutely destroyed them. And what's missing from them is they used to... Brady's not really worried about Von Miller because he has that side step and tap dances through the pocket. There's no pressure coming through the middle that used to really bother Brady, like the Shane Rays and Malik Jackson used to send him, and then he'd have to step aside, and that's when Von Miller or DeMarcus and they said money then, would eat. But when it's just Von Miller on his own, it's like, all right, sounds, we're just going to put you there.
And protect him.
I'm going to protect him, and he's just going to keep sidestepping and just picking holes in this. Just one little thing I want to talk about is Rob Gronkowski caught a touchdown, which was a clear catch, and it didn't get overturned and it didn't count. I think we kicked the field goal. See, there is calls that go against the Patriots. No one talks about it when they happen.
It was 41-16, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, my point is...
Jenno, shut the fuck up.
Get over it.
No, my point is, Joe, when we get the conspiracy theory... No, I was making a point. Joe, when we get the conspiracy theory...
You make the point every bloody week. I'm fed up of hearing the point. Nobody wants to hear the fucking point, okay?
Yeah, I'm with it.
No, but I'm just saying that's the conspiracy theorists might shut up for a bit if I bring it up. They won't.
No, they won't, for sure.
Yeah.
What I would say, the Patriots were very, very clever with how they used Rick Beacher, I thought, as well, in that they got him in space, they had him running the ball, they had him catching the ball, and Denver's defence, which is supposedly one of the best in the league, had let up over 90 points in 2 games now, and they just look like a team that is flagging.
They were struggling, man. They were absolutely struggling. I mean, it doesn't help that they've got no offense at the moment, and they just can't get off the field. They're gassing out and stuff like that. I mean, they're still a good defence. Don't get me wrong. Those 90 points, yeah, absolute killer and stuff like that. But it's the offense.
Yeah, get a quarterback.
I mean, to be fair though, Emmanuel Sanders was just running the show. I mean, he was incredible. Just throw it to him every time. He was like the Julio role, just throw it to him because he just destroyed Malcolm Butler. He couldn't get near him. It
was amazing, but yeah, in the end, it was a comfortable win. Thursday night football.
Sorry, they're getting a little bit of success with CJ Anderson early in the game as well, weren't they?
Yeah, you can notice the Patriots defense isn't very good. It's okay. It's middle of the pack.
The offense is on fire. Tom Brady's
but
MVP.
The offense, I mean, the way they just went, all right, well, you've got the best cornerbacks in the league. All right, we're just going to throw to the running backs and tight ends. What are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the coaching job was brilliant. We talked about bad coaching before. That coaching job, once again, was brilliant. Thursday night football, 22-16, Seattle, Arizona. I suppose the game itself is the game, and you know Seattle deserves to win, but the Sherman injury is what we probably need to talk about out for the season. That they've just signed Byron Maxwell to come in and play, which obviously that's a huge downgrade, but Seattle deserved to win. I thought in the end it was a sloppy game. Russell Wilson's amazing. We always say that every week, but that injury is the main takeaway. It's an absolute killer. In another star player in this season going down, it's a big shame.
Yeah, I think the one thing that the Seahawks are kind of lucky in, I suppose, and you know they're not lucky in any way, shape or form. Sherman out, a massive blow for them. But because Sherman does tend to stick to that side more, it is probably a little bit better than if he was changing and going with the star man every single week. So at least the guy who's coming in isn't having to be picked off. He'll probably take a side as well, and they might have matchup problems there because of that, but they can roll over coverage and stuff to help him.
How good's Bobby Wagner?
Great, boss.
I have to mention that.
Boss.
He's one of the best players.
And they'll have Earl Thomas coming back as well.
They should have Earl Thomas missed, and Chan slowing down at the end of the game as well. So like the whole league in the room was off the field by the end of the game, and they still managed to win. But that's because Drew's not in shit. New Orleans 47.
Yeah, they're legitimately boss on offense, mate.
47 points and they didn't have to throw a touchdown.
Yeah, it's mad. I was fuming because I lost my fantasy footy because of that.
Did you have Drew Brees?
Yeah.
14 points. He ran one in.
Yeah, no, but I had Kirk Cousins on the bench who had about 20 seconds.
the slowest quarterback run I've ever seen. Drew Brees was doing everything he could not to run that ball. He was like, I really want to throw it. I really want to throw it. Please let me throw it. Oh, okay. Kamara, Ingram, they were amazing, Chris. They are just... You mentioned before, Buffalo have been run on since they lost Darius. Maybe not a coincidence, but New Orleans are winning games like great football. This is like Super Bowl winning type football. It's running the ball, it's playing amazing defense. Marshawn Lattimore is just absolutely having a wonderful year. This is Super Bowl winning football, this.
It absolutely is, and I was very, very critical of Mr. Payton early on in the season, but he's turned it around. Now, I'm not going to go all in on him yet because I do think a little bit of that was luck. I think, the Adrian Peterson stuff really affected that running game and it's kicked it off. And whether that was by design or whatever, but Kamara came in, is now like legitimately challenging Ingram for that number 1 running back role. The two of them are absolutely brilliant, but I don't think it would have been the same.
No,
Peterson worked in any way, shape or form.
But
that's what happens during seasons. You do evolve to the players that you've got at your disposal, and fair enough, he cuts Peterson, he trades Peterson away and stuff like that, so he's made that decision himself, but the offense is absolutely on fire and the defense is playing lights out.
Kamara is basically everything that everyone thought Christian McCaffrey would be.
Yeah.
Kamara is that. You can run and he can catch it better than most running backs.
I think he's amazing. The Bills to me look like a team that we're overachieving. I think they're amazingly well coached, but we saw the limitations. They've got no stars. They've got LaShawn McCoy, and that's pretty much it. And it kind of showing now what they are. Good coaching can get you so far, but you need talent, and Tyrell Taylor couldn't get it done, and that offense in general.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this about the Bills. I was never really in on them. I never, even when they were 5-3 and they were contested Patriots, I was like, don't worry about it.
I was, because I thought they were well coached, but it just turned out that talent is what talent is.
And then when you look at the last week, I mean, they got blown out by the Jets. This week, they got blown out by the Saints. They're going to fall back to the pack and finish like 8-8, 7-9. They're not going to be anything impressive.
That might get you the playoffs in the AFC.
Actually, that might be. 7-9 might get you the playoffs in the AFC.
It's garbage. What a garbage conference that is. Let's just get Steelers Patriots in the AFC title game now, because we're just wasting all our time here. Lads are getting injured. You don't need this. Just put them in. It's absolutely fine. Green Bay 23, Chicago 16.
First win, mate. Well done.
Super Brett Hundley. Super Brett Hundley. Super Brett. No, what I would say is that Hundley played better. He couldn't have got much worse. He took more throws. I thought the play calling was good. He got a bit of luck by John Fox being the only coach in history to challenge his own play. So, I don't know if you've seen, they run to the sideline, they do a little dump off to Cunningham, he dives to the pylon, he touches the pylon with the ball, but he's marked short at the 1 yard line. John Fox challenges it. Up on replay, you notice that he lets go of the ball and fumbles into the end zone, and it's a touchback. So he basically challenged his own team from the 1 yard line to the Packers having it on their own 20, which is absolutely the most John Fox thing you've ever seen in your life. He challenged their own players. And you see his face as the ref doing the announcement, and he goes, the receiver fumbles the ball, and you see John Fox go, oh. And then you see,
I think he should have been fired on this one.
Yeah, the Packers weren't going to challenge either. They were going to let them run the play. It was amazing. So, Hundley coming up with two massive
You're also
throws.
playing the Bears.
Yeah, but their defence is good. Their offence is crap. Trubisky's good out the pocket, but that's about it. To be fair, the Packers...
Who have you got next week?
Not good. No, actually, it's the Ravens. They might win that. They shut down the running game of Howard and Cohen well, and they dared Trubisky to beat him, and he couldn't. And then...
Everyone's been shutting that running game down over the last few weeks.
And Hunt, yeah, I agree.
Because they don't throw the ball.
Because they can't throw, that's why they've stacked the box. And to be fair to Hundley, he made a couple of really good throws. The one to Adams was very much an improv type throw where he you done the Aaron Rodgers thing of pointing him somewhere to go and just landed on him. So he played better, but what I would say with the Packers is their schedule over the next 5 weeks, they've got the Ravens, they've got the Browns, they've got the Bucks, but they've also got the Panthers and they've got the Steelers. If they go 3-2, there's talk that Rodgers might come back, and then you're 8-6 and you might have a chance, but I think it's a big ask. I think even 10 wins might not get you in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at, and I think 10 wins won't get you in the
playoffs. You might need 11 wins.
NFC.
You might need 11 wins, so it might not be enough. But if you can sneak a couple with them, who knows? But I'm not holding my breath at all. I'm expecting 8-8, and if you get any better, then it is what it is. Cleveland 24, Detroit 38.
So this game exists.
Yeah, we've got to preview it. So
It's happened before. It'll happen again.
62 points later. Cleveland were in the game. They were in that game all the way through. They get to half-time, Chris, and they run a quarterback sneak with 7 seconds to go and no timeouts, and the clock expires. So, what a Cleveland? Why would you not just sack Hugh Jackson there and then? That is the, and he kind of blames the Sean. He blames the Sean Kyle. I was like, whose play call was that? I think there was like 13 seconds left, and they run a quarterback sneak, doesn't get it, and the time runs out. It was just absolutely shoot yourself in the foot more. Impossible.
No, only John Fox can do worse than that. Literally only John Fox, mate. I don't know. Didn't see the game before.
Matt Stafford's amazing. That's what we'll go from that. Again, it's only the Browns that Matt Stafford's having on him. He will definitely be in our... Sorry, Lions fans, when we didn't put him in our top 10 last year, he's very much in our top 10. If we do one in the summer, I'll pencil him in. I thought they were really... They stuttered at first. The defence was getting gashed. But then, you know, again, it's a game you just win. And
Stafford just took over, didn't he? That's basically what happened. Stafford took over the game, which is what good quarterbacks can do. And that's how they win games. And then, see, as I was saying, I think the Lions are the ones who are going to miss the playoffs. With
like 10 wins.
If they were in the AFC, they'd be first seed. It's that, I feel that bad for them.
That very much would be a Lions thing to do. Win 11 games and not get in on a tiebreaker. That would be very Lions. Because they fell 1 yard short against Atlanta. That's very much that's what's going to happen to them. We talk all the time about the Steelers playing down to their competition when they go on the road. 2017 with the last... the only time they led that game was with that kick. It was a... I don't know.
They've been so up and down this season.
On the road,
you can see when they play at home how good they are. But when they go away from home, they're just struggling massively, and they have to get the number 1 seed, otherwise I think they're going to struggle.
For sure.
That simple for them.
Yeah, maybe they're not going to go into Foxborough and Winks. That's what happens. Scott Tulsine comes in for one play and throws an interception. But I mean, it weren't his fault. Jack Doyle just drops the ball, and that's what changed the game. To be fair, but I mean, that just sums the cult up, doesn't it? I feel really sorry for their fans and for them, because at least he tried to do something. He went and got him, Jacoby Brissett, but he gets here for one play, and Scott Tolzien has to come in and just fucks their whole fucking season. That's very much the cult.
The Scott Tolzien life.
Lived it. Jets 10, Tampa Bay 15. We both thought the Jets were going to win on the last show. I don't know who you picked.
Yeah, I did pick the Jets too.
We all picked the Jets.
How wrong we were.
Yeah.
So Josh McCown throws an interception, and then the very next play, Ravis Watson throws an interception. Or vice versa. Like, this was just a game. I don't even know what to say about this game. It was just there.
It was a game that's going to be quickly forgotten about. No team matters in either.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Move on. Let's move on then. Houston 7, Los Angeles Rams 33. The Rams are averaging 33 points a game, Chris.
Really
What's going on?
I don't know, mate, but the job that he has done to turn that offense around from averaging something like, 16 points a game was it last season to like now 33 points a game is ridiculous. And we've got them next week. The Vikings play the Rams.
It's such a good game.
For the neutral, yeah. But their offense, man, it's fucking very
Don't let Robert Woods score 94-yard touchdowns.
Well, that is a thing where we will definitely try not to do that. I'll make sure that I speak to the Vikings.
Houston's defense was doing well for the start, and that's what we mentioned before about adjustments, where Jason Garrett does nothing. The Jared Goff and Sean McVay, whoever do adjust, they got Todd Gurley more into space. They started doing more quick passes because Jadeveon Clowney was eating them up, and that's what I'm saying about adjustments. Very quickly, if Colin Kaepernick has got this this collusion thing going on, showed them this video of this game and just showed them Tom Savage, mate. Because if they think that guy is better than him, then it's not. So Colin, get a tape of this game because he was just absolutely shit. He is so bad.
He's in slow motion, doesn't he?
The Giants 21, San Francisco 31, Chris.
Picked the 49ers in this one, did you?
Yeah,
man.
We all did. Let's move on.
I did it because I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was going to play like at some point and he's going to be the saviour, and then he didn't. But, you know.
CJ Beathard won.
I did it because of the Giants.
Yeah,
the Giants.
Let's just phone the Giants in. Sack him. Just sack him now. They're absolutely done.
Didn't they come out today and say they're not going to sack him until the end of the season?
McAdoo needs to fuck off, is what that hashtag needs to be.
McAdoo won. He's well done, San Francisco. We haven't given you that much credit, but you won, which is great. CJ Beathard was the best quarterback in this game. There's a compliment for you. Well done to Mac. It's good when obviously a difficult time for him when he catches that touchdown. Brilliant for him. And Carlos Hyde looked good. And other than that, I don't know what you can say about this.
Sterling Shepard makes some good catches, rather than... Actually, let him throw it. Let him throw it and try and catch it himself.
And the very, very last one then, the Monday Night Football is Miami 21, Carolina 45. You mentioned Cam Newton running the ball. Cam Newton runs the ball 45 points later.
Yeah, that's basically it. When the Panthers have realised now, actually, let's just let Cam run the ball and we'll build our offense around that again. It's worked, and now the Panthers look good again. And the Dolphins... If you lost to the Dolphins and you missed the playoffs by like a game, it's your fault. You should sack everyone.
I was so in on the Dolphins. How wrong was it? That's it.
Where are we up to in the old?
We'll sort of pick him on the preview show. We'll check in on the pick him just because.
How did you do?
I've got no idea. I forgot. Ush. I think I'd be lucky to get half. I think I had an average week. I know for definitely I picked the Redskins, for example, so that was wrong.
I picked
Dallas as well.
So I picked the Redskins too, but I always go against the Vikings because it's
reverse jinx.
I'm absolutely fine for throwing away the pick'em.
Yeah.
I want this pick'em.
For the greater good. For the greater good. Thank you guys. That's been our Week 10 review show. Thanks very, very much for watching. Like we just mentioned, tune in and we'll be recording the week 11 already. The Week 11 preview will be out tomorrow or whenever you're watching this. If you're watching this and it's already out, it'll already be out. There you go. Smooth. That is mad. You could explain time to other people, I think. Like Dr. fucking who. I'm going to leave it there. So, Jenno, thanks, Chris. Thanks. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please thumbs up on the video. Subscribe while you're there as well. That subscriber count's going up every day. We do appreciate it. So keep on clicking if you haven't already. Until next time, that's been Cover 2 TV. Ta-da.